Welcome to another OU Insider Under the Visor YouTube Live powered by Riverwind Casino. My name is Brandon Drum, Parker Thune, Spencer Forsythe on the board, and it is the biggest game in college football this weekend, coupled with the biggest and most talented visit list we have ever seen that we've covered. And I've been following it for 20-some years. I mean, the amount of 5 stars in the 26, 27, 28 classes, the amount of top 100 players colliding in Norman this weekend, Parker, is out of this world. We're going to discuss that. We're going to answer your super chat questions. This is going to be a big live. We can't wait to get into it. But first, obviously, we have to thank our sponsor. So let's get after it.
And that starts with Riverwind Casino, our presenting sponsor here on the Under the Visor. Well, I guess this isn't the Under the Visor podcast. This is OU Insider Live. They sponsor both. Great folks out there at Riverwind Casino, right off I-35, Highway 9. Look, you know it. It's been OKC's premier gaming destination for nearly 2 decades now. Almost 3,000 electronic games, table games, bars and dining options, plus the best live music in the metro. It's no surprise that Riverwind is always a good time. The live stream is also brought to you in part by Jana King, the greatest team to ever clean, and a proud partner of OU Athletics, delivering spotless results from stadiums to any size business across the country. Check out which of their solutions is best for you or your business by going to janiking.com. That's JANIKING.com. And finally, a word from Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this football season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Flex your ball knowledge and win real money. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in more than 40 states. Prize Picks puts their users first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. And Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. So download the app today and use code OU Insider to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code OU Insider to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup, I should say. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. And of course, as we get started, want to remind you all, if you have a question for us, whether that is pertinent to the game ahead, the team, recruiting, fire it at us in super chat form, please. That will ensure that your question gets put. Of you that watch every single week, we cannot get to every single question, but the vow that we make you every single week on this live stream is that we will address every single super chat, even if we're here all night.
Yep. So how do we want to get started? Hey, let's tease this actually. We have a pretty cool guest coming on for the pregame podcast that is going
dropping
to
tomorrow, by the way. It's dropping early because it's such a cool guest.
Yeah, it's a guest that not only will interest OU fans, it'll be very, very interesting for Michigan fans, and all of college football will be interested in just the fact that he's on the pregame pod, period. So I'll leave it there. Yeah, we're pretty proud of this one. Pretty cool deal. But yeah, I guess, what's your feel right now? Like, overall, Parker, what's your feel for this week? Like, has the vibe been like you thought it was going to be? Has it been bigger, better? You're on the radio every day. I'm just interested your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this much. I think the buzz is certainly building throughout the week, and it's been an interesting news cycle to follow because, man, it felt like in the immediate aftermath, if we're just limiting this to our perspective on OU here, it felt like in the immediate aftermath of OU Illinois State, a lot of national talking heads were saying, man, OU looked good. John Mateer looked good. Lot to like about this football team. And then today, Wednesday, midweek, it seems like there are a lot more folks coming on the internet saying, John Mateer didn't actually play so good now that I look at the tape and examine his performance against Illinois State. So, I mean, depends on who you trust, depends on whose insight you value, but certainly some conflicting opinions on OU and on Michigan, both when you look at the games that they played this past week. And so I would go as far as to say, Brandon, that we know close to nothing about either of these teams based on how they looked in week one. So, man, I think the exciting thing about this matchup this weekend is that it legit feels like it's anybody's game. And OU fans feel great about their team at Owen Field
Yeah.
on their home turf. Michigan fans feel great about the team that their institution is sending on the road to go to
Y-
Norman and try to score an early road win, and an impressive, a significant one at that.
Yeah. Let's before I'm gonna piggyback off what you just said. Drake X with the $1.99. He said, "Boomer, mother sooner Parker." So Parker, I
Right
guess
back
Boomer
at you,
sooner
brother.
to you, buddy. All right. Yeah. So let's let's um let's dive into what you just talked about. Yeah, the Mateer thing is interesting to me because how do you have a QBR that he had and sit there and you are severely nitpicking, and I did watch film breakdown today where somebody nitpicked Mateer's throwing form and obviously his I don't want to say fundamentals, but just kind of
Mechanics.
his mechanics, his footwork, all that. Look, I don't think anybody has ever, I guess, professed that he has the most, I guess, picturesque mechanics walking the face of the earth. He's a gamer. He makes plays when he has to make plays. He makes throws that are crazy at times. And he has his misses at times, but that's always been John Mateer. That's like, that is nothing new. So going and watching him, how many incompletions did he have against Illinois State? I don't remember off the top of my head, like five, six, something to that extent. It wasn't that many.
7 incompletions.
Seven
Well,
incompletions.
6 if you count his interception as a completion to the other team, I guess.
Fair enough. My point is that he was still really efficient. Like you're getting to nitpicking at this point, trying to find a flaw in somebody's game when you're doing that. If somebody throws for 3 touchdowns and runs for one and throws a pick, and they throw for 300, how many yards? He threw for almost 400 yards, right? Almost 400, right?
392.
Yeah. What the hell are we talking about, Parker? Like you
Well,
broke one of the greatest players in OU history's record in a debut.
true. I think the rejoinder to that would be, well, it's Illinois State. And as someone did point out to me earlier in the week, and I thought this was a helpful perspective, he did break the record previously held by Baker Mayfield, but he played the entire football game.
He
Whereas
did.
you think back to some of the notable debuts, guys like Baker, guys like Sam Bradford, when you recall his debut against North Texas in 2007, they were out of the game pretty early in the second half.
True. Okay, true. But again, you and I both talked to people. That was strategic, by the way. Like obviously they wanted him to play as much game as they possibly could. And they were trying to get deep into the game there with him because they wanted reps. And they came up to the podium and even said that. They were up what I guess they ended one 32. So they were up 25 points in the fourth quarter. They could have thrown Michael Hawkins out there, but they kept trotting material out there. And the reason being for that is because they wanted more and more reps with the ones. Like if you go and look at what Baker did and you put it next to Mateer, and I'm not talking just their stats, Parker. I'm talking like complete team stats. I know you probably had people text the same thing to you. They were very similar. Like the OU Akron stats were very similar to
Yep.
what OU did this past weekend. It's another long list of coincidences with 2025 and 2015, by the way, just everything that's lining up here. But yeah, I get it. It's just, and everybody's like, well, it's Brooks Austin that said it. Nobody's taking a shot at Brooks Austin. He was nitpicking
He,
because
well, and he wasn't the only one, to be
he
clear.
wasn't
Like,
the, and exactly what I was about to say that he wasn't the only one. That's just the crazy part about it. And what he talked about, I actually agree with. Like, I agreed that there was a lot of things where he was a little too open ended on his throws, and that's what made him go a little errant at times. Um, but those are fixable things, and he even said that very fixable things. Game one. So that wasn't a shot at him. I'm talking about there's a few other people that were like literally nitpicking the crap out of Mateer, like nitpicking the crap. So, anyways, what else is on your mind as we go through this live?
Well, let's get to our next super chat question here. How about that? That'll help shape the or point the discussion in a given direction, which I think is
Yep.
a good one in this case. Showtime 409 tossed us $2 and asked how y'all feel about the O line. And I will say, Brandon, it's really, really difficult right now on
Yeah.
Wednesday to get a sense of what Oklahoma's starting offensive line this Saturday is going to look like because no fewer than 8 players no fewer than 8 players have taken first team reps on the practice field at some point this week. And they have played in a variety of different combinations, different positions. They've been
Oh, you
mixing and
fans, warm and
matching.
fuzzies.
Yeah, well, and I don't know if I don't know if that's something you enjoy hearing as an Oklahoma football fan, but that's reality. Like there have been a lot of different
uh,
permutations thus far on the practice field this week as Oklahoma's tried to get a sense of what things are going to look like up front in the trenches for them this Saturday. Now, we know Jacob Sexton is going to miss this game. He's not going to be available. And so what that means is you're looking at either Luke Baklenko or Michael Fasusi as your starting left tackle. I
mhm.
will say at the beginning of the week, I thought it was going to be Baklenko that drew the start. I'm beginning to lean more in Fasusi's direction here as of today. But what happens at the guard spots? I think that's going to be fascinating. What happens at the center spot? Is it still Troy Everett that is your starting center this weekend? Or is it Jake Michaela that gets the nod? There is so much up in the air right now at 4 of those offensive line spots. The one thing the one thing that is not in question is Derek Simmons is going to be your starting right tackle on Saturday. That appears to be the one thing that is set in stone.
Yes. You know what? The Jake Michael, Troy Everett one's, it's the most interesting one to me. Just because the center is so pivotal for obviously calling the slides, the protections, getting the players ID in the mic for the rest of the offensive line, like doing every little thing that's mental and communicating to the right and left side of the offensive line. So whoever that is, whether it's Jake Michaela, whether it's Troy Everett, I think that's the one thing both of them are going to do really well is they're going to communicate with the offensive line as a whole. They're experienced, they're veterans, and they're both really smart players. The biggest question is going to be who's going to be the most physical in the run game? Because I don't think either one of us are going to sit there, or OU fans in general, are going to sit there and question the pass blocking expertise or prowess of either one of those. Parker, I don't think there's going to be very many people after game one, granted, Illinois State, but still a top 5 FCS program, that are going to sit around and go, yeah, I'm worried about pass protection.
Mm-hmm.
You see, last year you were worried about both run and pass. This year, you have the luxury of just worrying about one, but unfortunately, against Michigan, a team that's probably going to be very ball dominant, very run heavy against Oklahoma, very trying to control the clock, and you're going to try to set the tone physically back at them. That's probably the area you want to be strongest at and not the pass protection side, Parker. And unfortunately for Oklahoma going into this game, maybe they are strong and we just didn't see it because they were so simplistic in the blocking schemes, right? Didn't show anything last weekend. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's because Derek Simmons wasn't out there and Jake Sexton got hurt and you didn't have Michael Fasusi to back him up and you had Luke Beklinko who actually played fairly well in that spot. Maybe it's because Heath Ozida was hurt and your left guard was Eddie Pierre-Louis instead of him or whoever else was playing that position last week because there was a lot of rotation, right? This past week. So I there's a lot of variables there that you sit there and you scratch your head out like, what is this offensive line? And if you're an OU fan, they're looking there going, you're going up against Michigan this weekend, and you're still going, who the hell is going to start outside of Derek Simmons?
Well,
Not. There's not the warm and fuzzies are not good there after 2024, Parker.
no, they are not. And well, Kyle Burnett is here in the YouTube chat, and he said, I've heard Fasusi, Ozida, Michael, Simmons was the first team O line today at practice. Yes, that's true. However, That was not the first team O line on Tuesday, and Tuesday's first team O line was not the first team O line on Monday. So again, I'm really not sure. Yes, while that may have been the first team offensive line today, I'm really not sure whether that is reliably indicative of what the starting offensive line is going to be come Saturday.
Oh, Parker, this it gets better and better all the time, huh? What? Look, before we get back more into the game, this visit list is insanity, by the way. And we don't want to give all of it away, but holy crap. Okay, so before we got the finality of the list today, like we finally know like
Did
kind
you get
of
that whole list posted, by the way?
it is not all the way up, but it's going to be after we're done here. That's why I'm not talking very much about it. I had to go to a ribbon cutting for my stepmom who got the third floor of the Minders Neurology Building named after her. So I had to leave right after we got sent that to go do a thing there. And I literally just walked back in the door as we were about to go live. But here's the deal, man. The original list that we posted still had 12 top 100 players in 26, 27, 28 classes. Eight of which I believe were top 54, or was it five that were 5 stars, right? Something to that extent. Something in along those lines, right? I have to go
It's
back
a
and look at my tweet.
bonkers visit list.
Yeah. Long story
We're
short, yes,
talking
crazy.
we're talking at least 2 dozen players that are top 250 guys in their respective classes.
Correct. Correct.
And all but one of the commits. All but one of the 2026 commits are going to be
Yeah,
in town,
I
which
think that's
takes
the
some
most
like that
impressive.
takes some coordination, Brandon, because
Yeah,
these aren't OVs. These are all guys coming in on their own dime. You have Derek Johnson from California, T. Ron Richardson from Virginia, Brian Harris and Daniel Norman and Jake Krell from Florida. Like, dudes are flocking in from all over the country. Indiana, right? Like, this is a very impressive job. This is very impressive work by Jim Nagy and his staff to execute all of this coordination such that you get this not only this many uncommitted prospects in state and out of state in town, but you get all the guys that are going to be able to put a good word in for the Sooners with their peers on campus as well. Bo Bentley and the whole crew.
that is correct. So, having said that, and knowing there's probably how many would you say? Say, I didn't count. I would say somewhere along the lines of what 55 recruits, probably somewhere in that number. Would you think it's more
I
than
know
that or
I know
less?
in total they are expecting over 100. Now,
Okay,
obviously not all of those guys are offer caliber players at the University of Oklahoma. The number is something like I think like 40 to 50 high priority guys for Oklahoma, or maybe they're not
I thought it
all.
was a little over 50 that the high priority for all three classes is what I thought I counted that, but again, I'll go back and look. That so knowing that it's up there. How many commits do you think you get out of it? Like, do you think you get a commit out of this weekend? If they win, let's say Oklahoma wins, do they get a commit?
Yes.
How many? If I set the over under at 1.5, would you take the over?
If they win, yes.
I agree. I agree.
I think there's one particular commitment in the 2027 class that has the potential to hit that could have a real ripple effect.
I know who you're talking about, but I also will say that I think that as deep as that 27 class is, that if Oklahoma wins, I could see 1 to 3 of those okay preps, and there's probably 15 like like a total that are potential offer guys, like that I think could pop at some point very soon. If not that night, again, 1 to 2, maybe 3 of those guys that could pop just because they're in-state guys, just because I think, and that's where I'm kind of headed with this, this game is turning out to be kind of a tipping point for the Sooners. Let me kind of walk this out for you. When I say tipping point, I think if Oklahoma was to lose, let's say by like 6 in the last 5, 6 minutes of the game, right? I don't think you look at it as, oh no, here you go again, Oklahoma, because the reality is Michigan's a good team,
They
right?
are.
They're a very good team. So if that was to happen, I don't think OU fans should go, oh crap, here we go again, gonna lose, blah 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 blah. No, I think you look at it as, so you're probably going to have one loss going into Texas, and now you have chances to improve and get another big win with Auburn coming to town and Jackson Arnold in your pocket going into Texas. Now, if you lose that game, though, okay, cool. That everything's off the table at that point. But if Oklahoma was to win, the confidence that is going to reign out of Norman is going to be so palpable that I'm just going to say it. I think if Oklahoma wins just because of the University of Oklahoma, I think they move from 18 to close to number 10. And I think that, and look, I'm equating it like the Florida State, Alabama. Florida State moved up all the way to 14, bro. They weren't even in the top 25. Off a win versus a team that is now ranked 22nd. I don't know the logic behind that. Tell me how that makes sense. So either Florida State's really, really good or Alabama's just not that good, right? Do you see
Well,
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
the logic is Florida State spanked an Alabama team that people are thinking are going to be good. But
You see where I'm saying they played like they were very soft though this past week. I talked to people from the Florida State side that were like, "Hey, like people were surprised how soft Alabama was in that game." People said they were softer. They looked softer than they were last year at times. That's coming from people on the Florida State side, and that was from film they watched and all that. So my point is that if you think Alabama really is the 22nd team in the country, and Florida State spanked them, is beating the 22nd team in the country to jump up to 14. So my point is that Oklahoma has the name brand that Florida State does as well. You beat Michigan, right? They're ranked hovering around 15, 14, 15, right? You beat them. I think there's a chance just because it's national television, it's Oklahoma. Everybody wants to see Oklahoma back as it is because it's the name brand, right? It's fun
mhm.
when they're good. I think you could see Oklahoma jump up to that 12, 13 range, maybe 11 ish, depending on how that victory plays out. And I think that would be such a big confidence boost for Oklahoma, not just team wise, but recruiting, everything. I think the momentum that was lost last year is gained very quickly. Not all of it, but a lot of it gained back. Would you agree?
I would, and things are certainly pointing in the right direction. I said this today on the radio though, and I'll say it again. I'm almost equally as curious to see how Oklahoma handles the aftermath of a hypothetical win against Michigan as I am to see if they can go and win this game in the first place. Because you think about it, there's been one, what would you even call it? Perhaps not a statement win, but like an eye opener win of each season of Brent
Mm-hmm.
Venables' head coaching tenure at the University of Oklahoma. 2022, it was Nebraska. The Sooners followed with 3 straight losses. In
That's true.
2023, they beat Texas. What happened thereafter? They barely survived on their home field against a UCF team that was middling at best, and then they lost 2 straight to Kansas and Oklahoma State. In 2024, they thumped Alabama out of nowhere on their home field.
Mm-hmm.
And what followed? They went to Baton Rouge, got their teeth kicked in, and then lost the Armed Forces Bowl to Navy. So historically, there has been a hangover after big wins for this program. If they go and beat Michigan on Saturday, okay, yes, they're going to win the following weekend against Temple. That's not in doubt. But to me, that creates a very intriguing dynamic going into the following weekend's game when you have to come back home
Mm-hmm.
and take on Jackson Arnold and the Auburn Tigers.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. I think I look at last year. I just think I throw that whole season out. I know it happened, but I just throw that just with all the injuries and even the Navy game. I go back and I look at it and I'm like, but Oklahoma walked in with like 50, what they like 53 guys on their roster at that point. They 53 would have probably been pushing it. I don't know. They didn't have very many because everybody transferred out, or OU pushed them up, processed, if you will.
Hmm.
Let's air quote it. A lot of those guys out that they didn't want in the program. Um, so I kind of, yeah, but yeah, you're right. That UCF game after the Texas win was just that was a clunker,
Alarming.
man. It was alarming, and I think we all looked at it. We thought it was alarming when it happened, but at the same time, it's like, okay, it was a hangover for Texas. You would hope in year what would be 22, 23, 24, year four for Brent, that they would be able to keep the momentum going. Or if you were going to have a hangover, at least get off that hangover after you travel to Philadelphia because you're going to have your starting quarterback from the year before traveling into town. I don't think you can have a hangover for that. You're going to be up for that if you're the OU players. You're playing your boy Jackson Arnold, you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I get where you're coming from, but I think the schedule lines up so well for Oklahoma in this instance that it's going to be really hard for that to happen. And if you remember correctly in 23, they also had and obviously that could happen this year, right? But Danny Stutzman got injured, Tawi Walker got injured, and everything kind of went when they didn't really have. And I believe that was before. Was it before? Yeah, it was before Gavin Sawchuk got healthy because he didn't get healthy until UCF. So yeah, well, I guess he got healthy UCF game, and they didn't run him. And everybody was like, "Why are they not running him against Kansas?" And then they finally ran him the rest of the season. So that was a weird deal. I guess the whole Brent Venables tenure has been a little odd, but like just been a little odd.
It's had its quirks, certainly.
Definitely had his quirks. Do we have a super chat? I feel like I
Yeah, we
saw
did.
one.
From Ola Kyle, who said, "Thanks for all you do. What percentage of plays do you expect each running back to play on Saturday?" Boomer. I
Uh,
mean,
yeah, go ahead. This is pretty simple, simplistic this weekend, right?
I don't think Tory Blaylock's going to play. Now, it is not a 100% rock solid certainty that he doesn't play, but I don't think he's going to play right now. And so, if indeed Tory Blaylock is not in the picture, and to be clear, if he does play, I personally will be a little bit worried. like, I I will be worried for the kid's sake because
I
I
agree.
think I think he would probably be better served at this point. I think the program will be better served to just sit him down for a couple games, let him get healthy. Because and maybe this is me being scarred from 2024, but I think with what he's dealing with right now with that shoulder, it probably makes more sense just to put him on the shelf for a little while. But he's gonna try to play Saturday. He
Mhm.
wants to play Saturday. The kid's tough. The kid's talented. The kid had an awesome Oklahoma debut last week. And so if he's in the mix, great. If not, I think, you know, I'd say he probably gets 20% of the snaps if he's active. If he's not active, the other 20% of the snaps go to some conglomeration of the reserves in the Oklahoma backfield. My expectation is that Jay Knott gets 60 to 70% of the touches and the snaps. I mean,
Yeah,
if he doesn't, what was all the hullabaloo about this offseason? If Jaden Ott isn't your bell cow, if he's not the guy that's out there the most in a game that matters as much as this one,
hmm.
why'd you pay all that money to go bring him in?
No, that's a fair question. I guess the the other question would be how hmm, does Javante Barnes touch the field?
Does he touch the field? Yes. Does he carry the football
That
more than
that's what I'm
4 or
getting
5
at more
times?
than yeah, that's what I'm getting at more than anything else, just in a polite way. Um, does he okay, does he touch you remember last year how they would bring Salchuk in just like you knew on third downs it was pass for him to pass block? Like, do they do that with Barnes this year where it's like, all right, yeah, well, like We need the guy that's going to catch the ball in the backfield and or not miss IDing, 6-man protection, picking up the blitz, those type of deals. Do they go back? Do they do that with him? I guess is my biggest question. Like, do you see them going that same route, or do you think he actually comes in and they're like, okay, let's see if you can redeem yourself a little bit in a play or two here, and if you don't, we're just going to run with X and odd. I mean, that's how I think it's going to play out. Like, he's going to get 1 or 2 carries, and if they don't go well, you're going to see 24 and 0 out there more than any other players. Period. And on the Blaylock thing, yes, as somebody that has seen a family member have that distinct exact injury, it can turn very badly really quickly if you get hit just right. Just right. Even if it's healed. Even if it's healed. It's a quirky little injury. So, what outside, I guess outside of offensive line and D line, I think, because that's everybody's biggest concern, offensive line for Oklahoma versus Michigan's defensive line. But we were told today that Oklahoma's defensive line might be of concern against a Michigan run game. Do you buy that theory?
Do I buy that it might be a concern?
No, not might. Do you buy the theory that it's a concern?
No, I don't think if Oklahoma loses the game on Saturday, it won't be because they didn't hold up against the run.
Using the word might to just try to wiggle that yeah, I said might, but you understood what I was saying, like being a concern.
Yeah,
Like,
I think if that's like there are several different ways Oklahoma could lose the football game on Saturday. One of the least plausible ways is that they get gashed on the ground by this Michigan rushing attack. They are very talented up front. This is well known and well documented. That's not a homer take. That's something that everybody in the country agrees on. Oklahoma has a really good defensive front.
okay, I agree. I'm just saying, like, you heard me ask the question, like, okay, excuse me, I just have to get clarity on this when it was
Yeah.
said. So, but to this person's point, they pointed it out, right? They gave reasons why. Um, but we heard some OU fans, even on our board, say the defensive line wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, and we're like, the the outside of like 3 plays, they shut them down like to almost nothing all game, maybe 4 runs total. They got all their yards on 4 runs, and they were busts. But who's to say it was a defensive line bust? Because one of those plays, OU was they shifted their defensive line over to the right, and they were blitzing. They were run blitzing 3 backers, and the backers were the ones that got out of position, not the defensive line, and that's what cost Oklahoma on the outside. Um, but yeah, I'm interested to see this defensive line OU versus the Michigan offensive line because you know that it's going to be really physical between both of them. Like Michigan is going to be Sharon Moore is their head coach, Parker. He knows how to coach offensive line. They're going to be physical. So that's probably going to be the funnest matchup for me to watch all game. And to that point, I guess the other question is if you were going to take the over under, if I said Bryce Underwood has 35 yards rushing, over or under on that?
I would take under on 35.
Really? Even like, I'm talking scrambling at all. Are you saying
Yeah.
like just
Well, because I mean, like sack
could he
yardage is
have
going to
more
factor
than
into
that
that
than
too,
sacks?
right?
Okay,
So,
so
yeah.
you're throwing sacks in there. Okay, got you, got you. Okay, take the sacks out of it. Does he have 30 more than 35 yards rushing with scrambles?
No. No, I don't think he does.
Okay, you're feeling good about this defense on Saturday.
I
I
do feel
see
good
it.
about this defense.
I
Well, and
see
like
it.
I'm curious to see because I think Bryce Underwood, not to take away from his mobility, but he's a much better thrower than he is a runner. And so
I
I think
agree.
that's gonna be the game plan for Michigan going up against Oklahoma, I would imagine, is hey, we gotta attack where they are weaker. And I think the perception for Oklahoma right now, the perception of Oklahoma is that they're weaker in the defensive backfield. Now, we obviously have reason to believe Oklahoma's defensive backfield is in a much better place than it has been in recent years. That will no doubt be tested on Saturday, much more so than it was against Illinois State.
Right. Um, we got two super chats, by the way. K Dub in the 918. Thank you. He sent two of them, by the way. So thank you, K Dub in the 918. We'll answer the first one. That many recruits in town probably would be a good idea to provide an energetic atmosphere so fans can impact the game. Saturday was a new low for fan engagement. It was really bad. Do they genuinely not care about the fans, or, and I'm assuming this goes into the second one. So he sent another one. So I appreciate. So it's a two for two. It's an all in one super chat here. Or are they just that bad at energizing the crowd? Because that was terrible. Thank you guys for the honesty on the subject and not towing the company line like some do. It was bad. It was awful. I turned to Jesse Parker and I said, I have never heard a crowd so quiet. And it was like the between the third quarter and fourth quarter, what the was that?
Oh my goodness.
What was that?
My eyes rolled all the way to the back of my head. I like you're just gonna
Who are the people in charge, Parker?
I don't know. I don't. I don't know who oversees that, but they spun it off as, well, these are songs from Toby Keith's playlist, right? Songs that Toby would like. They're just the same canned boilerplate stadium jams that you hear everywhere. They played Margaritaville. I think when they played Margaritaville, I was like, all right, I'm out. And
Yes,
that's
I
all.
made a
Yep.
comment on that as well. Yeah, I told Jesse, like, I go, as a matter of fact, my exact quote was, I love Margaritaville as much as the next, right? Great song. Jimmy Buffett's a good artist, but this is not football music. They played it on college game day, right? I remember they would always play that on college game day, and that would be the most dead portion of college game day when they would play it. Like there's got to be something that they can get hyped at, the fans can get rocking, even the old folks can get their knees swaying, you know. I don't know. There's got to be something that can be done because it's a night game. They better get it right because the Michigan fans are going to come in thinking it'd be cool to hear Mr. Brightside, right? And they're going to hear, I don't know, what, Baby Say Yes by Taylor Swift. I don't freaking know. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just do better. Figure it out. That's all I have to say. Figure it out, Oklahoma. Let's figure it out. The fans need it. All right. I'm done with that rant.
We have another super chat that we accidentally skipped over from Jesus
Okay.
Saves, who gave us $5 and asked, how do you guys
Yes, he
honestly feel
does.
about how DeMarco has been coaching the running back room?
I mean, it's been one game. Last year, I try to say, I feel vindicated after 1 week, by the way, on the running back that they choose to make transfer. Having said that, he didn't have anything to do with that. So you can't blame him for that move. That's number one. Number two, I I don't know, man. Like I think last year was not good as far as like rotation. He knows the running backs room, right? I think they thought Taylor Tatum was going to take that room over and they weren't going to have to do anything. And then when that didn't happen, I think they were a little lost. Would you agree with that? Because I really felt that was the case. I think we're going to find out week 2 really how the rotation is.
I would agree. I will say this. I have a take. I'm workshopping. and I want to see a few more weeks worth of data before I throw it out there. Because it's one of those takes that you have to make sure you've measured, crossed every T, dotted every I before you
Mhm.
throw a take like that out there. So
Yeah. Well,
we
that's
shall
why I'm
see.
saying, like, yeah, we have to see how this year, because up to this point, I think 23, when they found, I guess when Salchuk got healthy, everything was right, right? Like they felt good about the running back room at that point. Up to that point, I think you could question the rotation. 22, there was no issue. 21, no issue. 20, no issue. It was, it's just been the last few years, Parker. It's been like, what the heck? I don't
Yep.
know. Cooper Graves, thank you for the super chat. Can you please answer my super chat from 20 minutes ago?
I guess we missed this one too. Apologies, Cooper. He said over under 9.5 future commits from recruits attending this game. This is for any time, not just soon. Yeah, okay. Yes, Oklahoma will have at least 10 future Sooners
Yeah.
that are not yet committed on the sideline for this football game.
Well,
I
you got
feel
to think about,
confident in that.
yeah, I mean, think about all the in-state kids. I mean, that, and Oklahoma is actually recruiting these in-state kids, by the way.
Yep.
So there's a difference there. Now, what you have to worry about is Oklahoma State doing what they did in 26, and that is throwing outlandish money at guys that you just wouldn't pay outlandish money to. It's not that they're not good players; they're just not worth $500,000, if that makes sense. That is a top 100 payment, Parker. And Oklahoma State wanted the notch on the belt of beating Oklahoma out for recruits, and they did it. More power to them. Oklahoma, I think, just went out and grabbed some dogs at defensive line, anyways. I think that's fair, right? And I think the running back they got with the Zaven Walker, dog too. So, um, yeah, I think there's always that chance, but I think Oklahoma's going to be. This class is so talented, and I'm interested in your take on this. In state that I think it'd be hard pressed to not see them push for at least 85% of those guys.
I got distracted by this chat from Chuck Kearney who said, Parker, you definitely need to be careful with throwing things out there. You have a bad history of being wrong.
Oh, just ignore
Chuck,
that crap.
I talk about OU football for like 20 hours a week. I say enough things that, yes, I'm going to be wrong about some things. I'm also right about a lot of things as well. But hey,
You're going to be remembered for
that's
what you got wrong more than you are what you got right. I promise you.
oh, that's factual. And hey, you know what? This is what makes sports talk and sports coverage interesting. If I was
Yes,
right about everything, people would lose interest.
correct.
People have to feel like, and it's probably true in some cases, but they have to feel like they're smarter than you in order to stay engaged. They have to be like, no, he's wrong about this. I got to let him know. I'm
And
sure
please
there are
do
many
let us
folks
know.
out there that tune in every week that are smarter than me. But hey, that's what makes the world go round in our business. Um, so you said 85% of
Yeah, I think they're going to push for about 85% of the guys that they've offered up to this point. I think that's a fair, maybe 75%.
you're talking in-state guys specifically.
Yeah, in state.
Yeah, I mean, I think almost without exception,
Yeah.
the guys that Oklahoma has offered and pursued, the guys that they're hosting this weekend, that's kind of the tell, right?
Yes. Because this is elite. Yes.
Amongst the in-state guys that are there this weekend and have an offer, yes, Oklahoma is going to prioritize all of those guys. Um, Ryan Meyer threw us $2 and asked any updates on Ozaida's status for the Michigan game. He's going to play.
Yep.
Unless something goes haywire on the practice field over the next 3 days, he's going to play. BG tosses
He
10
will have to
bucks.
tough it out though, just so people fans know. Like he has to tough this thing out the rest of the year. This has been it's been an ongoing issue with him for a while, off and on. So go ahead.
BG
Sorry.
asked who is getting first team reps in the O line and running back positions. Also, should we expect Eli Bowen to start this game? Thanks for y'all's hard work, gentlemen. Auburn is the ballpark return date for Eli Bowen. He's not going to play this weekend. Jaden Ott has been getting the majority, I think almost all of the first team reps at running back this week, as you would expect. And
Yep.
then as far as first team reps on the O line, we talked about it a little bit earlier on the stream. 8 guys, 8 different guys have gotten first team reps throughout the week to this point on the O line. So I cannot tell you, as much as I would like to, I cannot reliably tell you right now who Oklahoma's first team offensive line is going to be when they trot out there on the field on Saturday, because it could be a number of different combinations right now. Heck, it could be a combination that has not practiced together this week yet.
Yeah. Um, on that, I'll just give my prediction. Let's see if I get it right. Everybody, y'all can remember that you write them down. If I go 3 for 5, I'll be happy. Like it's that up in the air. This was hard for me because I'll say left tackle just because I think it'll be Beklinko, just because you're playing Michigan and he's just got experience playing Power Five, you know, teams as a starter at Stanford. So I think it's Beklinko at left tackle, but by the end of the game, I will not be shocked if Fasusi's taking it over and he's just kind of the guy, right? Like, because I feel like it was the rotation was, I think they felt like before Sexton got injured, it was going to be Sexton was going to be starting. They were going to rotate those guys every so often to get Fasusi warmed up as the season went along. I don't think they ever really believed that Fasusi was just going to be the guy because Sexton just had so much experience and understood the offense and all that type of stuff. But they were going to get him prepared for 2026 100% and get him as much reps as they possibly could in pivotal moments. So there were going to be times where he was going to be out there for 2 or 3 series at a time, and they were going to rotate. Is just my thought on it. But I think Fasusi takes it over by the end of the game. But I think Backlinko will trot out there first. Left guard. Do we believe Eddie Pierre Louis will start and Ozida will take it over? Like, is that kind of how
I think one of two things will happen.
okay?
I think one of two things will happen. What you will see is either Heath Ozida at left guard and Fabechi Wiwu at right guard,
Right.
or
For Betchy
you
at
will
left.
see Fabechi slide over to left guard
Yeah.
and Ryan Foje play right guard.
I'm going to say they don't start the freshman. Just,
And I'm leaning in that direction as well.
yeah.
I think more realistically, it's probably Ozida at left,
Yeah.
Wiwu at right.
Okay. So Ozida at left, Weebu at right. Your right tackle is obviously Derek Simmons. Your center, just because Jake Michaela finished the game and played majority of the second half, I'm going to say Michaela starts. Do I trust that he finishes the game as a starter? No, because I think Troy Everett actually is a pretty decent center. I think he has his moments where he struggled a little bit last week, but I think overall he's a pretty good center. Or I think there's a chance that he could play guard, or one of the two could play guard. That would be interesting if they played both of them out there at the same time. Like there's
Which
that
I
option too.
don't think that'll happen.
I don't either, but I think they both have done it, I guess. Why you think they could do it. But yeah, that's how I think it's going to play out. We've got several super chats though here, Parker.
We do. They're stacking up. Drake X said, "Why can't Bill just pick his best five? Never ends." It's week 2, Drake. It's week 2. Let's just keep
He's
that
done
in mind.
this for
Still very
13
early.
years, dude. Like,
Still very early.
I just wouldn't get all upset about it. Just saying. Go ahead.
P says, "Thanks, guys. Need prayers, please, for medical test results that come back tomorrow. Scared, but either way, got this week's game to be excited for."
Oh,
Well,
man,
Pete, we
man.
will send prayers
Praying
up for you.
brother. For sure.
No doubt.
For sure.
John May Myrick checked in with $10. Thanks, John May, and said, "Do you think Michaela is significant?" Everett. I don't think he's significantly better than Everett. If he was significantly better than Everett, he would have started week 1, right? Like I think the margin between the two is thin, and I think it's it's more so a matter of, okay, one guy does certain things better, one guy
Yeah.
brings a certain value to the table, and you got this other guy that does certain other things better, and he brings a different sort of value to like the value in having Everett out there is he's incredibly smart. He's experienced. He's been in the system for 3 years now. He knows what he's looking at. He's played alongside all of these guys for multiple years. And so you don't really have to second guess it in terms of his cerebral capacity to do all that is required at the center position, nor to operate in flow, I guess, in conjunction with all the other guys up front on the offensive line. But Michaela, I think obviously the physical ceiling for that kid is higher because he's 6'5", 300, as opposed to
Yep.
Everett, who's 6'2", 310. So you got more of a wingspan, right? A little bit more length. And he's a Stanford guy, right? Like he's smart as well. I don't want to take that away from him. But I think the physical traits that he has certainly they give you some a sense of optimism that if we're just talking about individual performance, ability to hold up against SEC defensive linemen, or in this case, defensive linemen from the University of Michigan, and not get knocked back. Maybe there's a little bit more confidence that Michaela is capable of that as opposed to Everett. So there's some give and take between the two, and it's been this way throughout fall camp. We talked about this from the first week of camp, man. There's disagreement in the building as to which of those two are better suited to be Oklahoma's starting center. So, can you go wrong between the two? I don't think you can go horribly wrong. Is either one of them the perfect guy for the job? Evidently, no. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this conversation in week 2, right?
That's very, very true. Very true. I think one or two things has to happen this week for just continuity moving forward. You need one of those two to step up and take it over. Doesn't matter which one of them has to, because that'll give you Temple to fine tune things before you go and take on Auburn, right? Like this needs to be it. You need to start ironing some things out on the offensive line for sure. Hey, real quickly, want to thank our sponsor SeatGeek real quick. Uh, college football is back. The NFL is around the corner, and Major League playoffs are not too far behind. Which is why I want to give a shout out to today's video sponsor, one of our video sponsors, SeatGeek. You can go to OU or you can go to SeatGeek.com, type in the word Insider10 to get 10% off any tickets on a promo code. That means a Michigan game this weekend. If you really want to go to the game, go to SeatGeek, type in Insider10. You get 10% off all your ticket purchases. It's worth the price of admission. There's a lot of concerts that are going to be going on here in Oklahoma City through the fall. Some big names are pulling through. Oklahoma has a lot of games coming up, whether home games, some of the biggest home games, Parker, that we can remember. Ole Miss is coming to town, right? LSU's coming to town. Who else is coming to town that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head? Auburn. Look, Texas, you can go to the Texas game. All you have to do is go to SeatGeek.com or go to the SeatGeek app, type in Insider 10 whenever you're going to buy your tickets with whatever sports, concert, whatever you're going to do, and tell them we sent you. Also, want to thank our one other sponsor, and that is, excuse me, Refine You Med Spa out of Oklahoma City. They've been named the #1 med spa in Oklahoma City over the last 6 years. Whether you're wanting to get skin tags removed, whether you're wanting nutrition help, whether you're wanting the P shot or O shot, whatever you are, you're trying to lose weight. The ladies, the staff over at Refine You Med Spa can help you. All you have to do is call Refine You Med Spa to get a free consultation today at 405-849-5391 or go to refineyookc.com and they will hook you up. All right, Parker, before we get out of here, what is one recruit that you're watching? Just the closest this weekend. Okay, not named Peyton Houston. I'm just going to say not named Peyton Houston. How about that?
Honestly, no, I don't want to say that because then I'm gonna have to explain it, and I don't want to have to explain it.
That's too in depth, huh? All right.
Yeah, well, and I don't think we're gonna get out of here quite that immediately because we do have a couple of super chats that we still got to get to. But outside of Peyton Houston, man, I mean, I think my answer might be KJ Ford. Like, because we know and we have known for a
Yeah.
long time now that kid likes Oklahoma a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and he's committed to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
He's still coming back.
Yeah,
I'm
and see,
rooting
that
on
was a
him for a
question. We
game
were
day.
questioning whether he was
And
going to
like,
come back or not. Yeah, and
yeah,
he
and like
is.
as of
Yep.
right now, like he's expected to. He is expected on campus. As
Yep.
to whether it actually happens or not, different conversation. I guess in a situation like this, you never know for certain until he's actually there on the field. But the expectation is he's going to be on campus with the Sooners. And man, I know talking to folks within the program, folks that have been close to this process, Oklahoma has always been content to play the long game with KJ Ford and wait till the fall. And guess what? The fall is here. It is Oklahoma's time to make a move with this kid if they're going to make a move and they feel like they can. They've always felt like they can. They've always felt that regardless of where he committed in the summer, if he committed in the summer, he'd have a hard time saying no to Oklahoma by the time the fall rolled around. So this is your chance to make a move, win, make an impression, and see where it goes from there.
I have three names.
Okay.
Three names, and
And
one of them's not real sexy. Gabriel Osborne out of Mustang, 2027 cornerback that Oklahoma's offered. But a lot of people are gonna after this year. Parker, you can vouch for this. This kid is gonna have 30 offers. But I don't know that it gets to that point. Like I think he likes Oklahoma enough that if things move in the right direction, like by December, I could see this thing being over with. Like, yeah, it's just my gut, just my gut. Um, Another one out of the 2027 class, Cooper Witten. I just he didn't for some odd reason people are overlooking Oklahoma there. And you and I both know Oklahoma is in very strong standing with him, and they have been. I mean, one of his closest potential godparent, DeMarco Murray, like they're super, super close, obviously. Uh, the last one is a sexy name that people are going to remember. He's been committed to Oklahoma at one point. He keeps coming back to Oklahoma
yes, he
over
does.
and over and over, and he loves him some Sooners. He just felt like he needed to open up and let some other teams talk to him. And he's taken some visits to some other places over the last few months or even during the spring and stuff like that. Zane Rowe out of Denton Guyer. I My gut says that if you're going to keep coming back to a place that you decommitted from, but made it very clear that they are still one of your top teams, if not the top team when you did it, that he decommitted for the right reasons to make sure he was 100% correct
Yeah.
and that he legitimately didn't do it just to throw OU by the wayside. Those are my three names, and they're
And
really,
hey,
really
can
good
I
players. Go
I'll
ahead. Go
throw
ahead.
in one more in the
Go ahead.
2028 class.
Running back. Yep. I know where you're going. Yep.
I don't think you know where I'm going.
Okay. I'm
You think
missing
you
on
think
here.
I'm going to
Okay.
say Micah Rhodes? It's not
Okay.
Micah Rhodes.
You're going to
Oklahoma's
rejoice.
latest
Yep.
commits teammate,
Yep.
Zizi Okafaleze, up at Rejoice, who committed to Oklahoma just
Mm-hmm.
last night. He's got a teammate in the 2028 class, top 100 kid in the nation, Cam Compton Nero.
Huge OU fan. Yep.
That looks really good for Oklahoma. And
Yep.
it's still very early, but that looks really good for Oklahoma right now.
He is so, so gifted, so talented, so athletically. Just it's insane.
Okay,
It's insane. We
couple
also have
more
to give
super
our
chats.
predictions because we didn't do it on the pregame podcast.
That
So
we do. Ryan Meyer says, I appreciate all your hard work, guys. Keep it up. Also, Parker, just want to say thank you for you and your wife's service in the military. Hope she's doing okay on her deployment. She's not currently deployed, Ryan, but thank you. Appreciate that. I know she does as well. And then, well, first off, Grant Moore knows zero ball. Just want to get that clear. Grant Moore knows zero ball. But we also have a super chat from Carson Perkins who
what
says,
just happened? What is that? Am I missing something?
don't worry about it.
Okay.
Just know that Grant Moore knows zero ball. And then
Okay.
Carson Perkins Toss us $5 and asked about Giovanni Gibson's timeline.
I mean,
I think probably Auburn.
yeah, that's been
I
kind of
think he should be
consensus
back
this
by
game
Auburn.
for. Yeah. Yeah. I know. Okay. I'll say this. I wouldn't be shocked if if he tried to, if they let him go for Temple, like just to get his feet wet a little bit. Because, I mean, the reality is that if you're talking in non Lincoln Riley closeness comparison, I'm not trying to say close like Lincoln Riley. By the way, I got a story to tell you real quick. Um, but just real quick, yeah, I think he's about as close as you can get to being healthy. Talking about Giovanni Gibson, I asked Fabici Wewu how close they felt about the offensive line being good and back. And his quote to me was just it was awesome. He said there's no such thing as close. No such thing as
You
close.
should clip that. You should clip that. Please.
He did no such thing as close because if you're striving for perfection, that you are never close because there's no way you can be perfect. Therefore, you can't be close to perfect.
Come on.
So you're not close. I loved it, and I worded it like that because I wanted to hear his response, and he threw shade at Lincoln Riley. He didn't even know he threw shade. So you fans will love that.
Oh, we love it,
Anyways,
folks. Okay, what's your prediction?
all right. So here's the deal. I am not overly confident in this whole game. Just like I'm confident that Oklahoma's going to play well. I'm confident that the defense is going to do some things. Much like Oklahoma fans, I am not confident in the run game, though I also believe that they didn't show anything. I think they were super general. I think Illinois State did a lot of slants, a lot of um, run slants, a lot of run stunts, or a lot of run blitzes. They guessed right on several occasions. I also believe that Javonte, and I'm not trying to throw shade at Javonte Barnes, he missed several holes that he could have still been running through the uprights right now or into the goalpost if he wanted to at this point, or still running. There were a couple of plays that should have been gone if he would have hit the right hole. Period. And it made the offensive line look worse than they actually were. And they weren't good, but made them look worse in the run game. And it would obviously, if he would have made those runs, everything would have looked a lot better. That said, Brent Venables, the crowd is going to be ruckus. Brent Venables, the fact that the defense is going to try to confuse the crap out of Bryce Underwood. I think they're going to be successful in a lot of ways. Uh, I have Oklahoma winning 24-21. 24-21. I just don't think it's that high scoring of a game.
Yeah.
I was really questioning the 24 points and the 21 points, but I figured there would be something that caused both sides to get points that maybe we weren't expecting. So I went 24-21.
I'm going to go even lower than that. I think Oklahoma wins 20-16. I think this is going to
Wow.
be a defensive struggle
Yeah,
for
I
the
agree
most
with
part.
that.
And honestly, this may be the type of game where, kind of like we saw with Texas, Ohio State last week, neither team actually breaks through and finds the end zone until the second half of this football game. I think it'll be a
Yeah.
chess match, man. Two excellent head coaches in Brent Venables and Sharon Moore going toe to toe. Two excellent defensive minds in Venables and Wink Martindale going toe to toe. I'm super intrigued by this matchup. I think it's going to be a 4-quarter down to the wire war. And I trust Oklahoma and John Mateer a little bit more than I trust Michigan and Bryce Underwood, especially at home. And that's the difference to me.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Um, be sure that you stay and pay attention. If you're an OU and Michigan fan, we have a good pregame podcast coming for you. It will interest both sides. It will interest college football fans in general. I promise you. So when is that dropping, Parker? I don't know the exact time. Just
Tomorrow.
go ahead. Tomorrow. It will drop tomorrow. Obviously, this will be up in podcast form if you want to re-listen to it or watch it again tonight at some point. But if you aren't an OU Insider subscriber to this YouTube or whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on, subscribe. If you aren't a member over at ouinsider.com, go to ouinsider.com, click to the top right, click join. Right now, they're still doing the athletic. You join OU Insider right now for $1 for the first week. You get the athletic complimentary on 3 and OU Insider for a whole year. It's a really, really good deal. All you got to do again is ouinsider.com. If you are a college student, doesn't matter what college you go to, email us ouinsider@rivals.com. From your .edu, we will send you a promo code to get OU Insider for $1 a month for the first 3 months. Same teachers, we thank you. You guys are the big help for us as far as like parents and just in general in society. This is our way of giving back to teachers as well. Email us from your teacher's school account, ouinsider@rivals.com. We will send you a promo code, get OU Insider for $1 a month for the first 3 months. And if you're a Michigan fan as well, you can do the same because you can get all of On 3. So you can go over to the Michigan site. You can do whatever you want. You get all On 3 access if you're a member of OU Insider. So it's not just exclusive to OU Insider. It's exclusive to all 83 On 3 sites. So it's a really, really good deal. If you are active duty military, email us from your active duty military account, ouinsider@rivals.com. We will, again, same as the other two, send you a promo code, $1 for the first 3 months. It is an amazing deal. We thank every one of you. We had almost close to 3,000 people total watching tonight. Pretty awesome deal. Thank you, OU fans. Thank you, Michigan fans. We do this because of you all. You guys are why we're doing this job. We are so, so very blessed. So thank you guys again. That's going to do it for this version of the OU Insider Under the Visor Sooners YouTube Live, powered by Riverwind Casino. For Parker Thune, for Spencer Forsythe on the board, pay attention to our pregame podcast coming up here later on, and we will see you guys after the game. Have a blessed day.